Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, and we are back with another action figure review. Today, we've got a duo review, as we've got the Elite Series 122, Julius and Brutus Creed, also known as the Creed Brothers, and well, let's be honest, I'm really excited to get into this. So excited, I already opened the Brutus. I'm joking there. I got the Brutus loose on Macari, whatever the fuck they call it. And I was also going to pick up his brother Julius on there too, but the one I had found like a couple days prior, well, wasn't there no more, so I was not able to do that. So I went over to the good old place, Ringside Collectibles, picked this up with MDT's, 10% off code, because can't lie, I love to save me some money, and well, you should too. But anywho, I think that's enough said. Why don't we get Julius out of his plastic prison, since we've already got Brutus out of his plastic prison now, shall we? Well, alrighty, you guys, we've got both the Creed brothers out of their plastic prisons. Of course, Brutus was already out of his, but now we can go over both men and their differences in their gears, despite them being pretty damn identical. And, well, first things first, we can go over both of their accessories. And, well, of course, when it comes to Brutus and Julius, both men come preset with one set of interchangeable hands, as they do both come with two. You get that? Numero dos. But I don't even think I fucking said that right, so don't mind me being a dick. But you've got a set of fist hands that I kind of pre-plugged into the Julius, because he had the open weapon hand, or the mic hand, on the white wrist tape side, and then he had the fist hand on this side. But Brutus, he comes with microphone / weapon holding hand straight out the gate. And, well, of course, both men come with opposite sets of hands. You've got the set of fist hands not plugged in the Brutus. You would have had, technically, this one being the one that was not plugged in for the mic holding hands. But really nice, especially when it comes to the Julius, because you get the white wrist tape one, or well, hand tape one, and then you've got the one with all the different finger tape and stuff. I just now noticed that this hand in particular, if I could fucking get it to roll around right, it's got a little bit of blemishes right there. A little bit of QC issues. We can talk more about QC issues the more we get into this video. At least it's nothing to do with posing though. But we've got this nice American-made tank top here, no back graphic, as of course it is Velcro, and I'm sure as you could tell, the Velcro looks a little wonky on this one, all because of how it was sitting in the package on the figure. But nonetheless, it is really nice soft material. I love the way the logo looks. It's all really neat nonetheless. And of course, Brutus does come with the same exact tank top, just a little bit bigger. So we don't really have to talk about that all that much. But when it comes to QC issues, both of these men have a little bit of QC issues. I'd say Julius has the least amount of QC issues, and it's mainly on the torso for both men. So we'll get into the Brutus figure first. And well, first and foremost, man, this head scan is spot on. Like, every time I've seen Brutus wrestle on TV, I see this goofy expression every now and again, and just, it is pretty damn astounding at how good this head scan is. Even the fade on the sides for his little mullet there, even though I'm not a mullet guy, the mullet at least doesn't look terrible on him. You've got white wrist tape, and the nice Kurt Angle looking American-made singlet with the red, white, and blue all the way around. But here is where we spot our first QC issue. A little bit of splotching and just a chunk of paint missing off that deco section. But the front end Front end looks really nice. I love how the singlet is outlined in white on top. I wish it was outlined in white on the bottom too, but even if they did, they probably wouldn't have painted that here, but that's whatever. The singlet is looking really solid, and I love these solid blue knee pads with the stars and the stripes on them as well. You've got nice standard black boots, and yeah, all around, I just love the way this formula is. We can get into like articulation and stuff later, but like just to show it off a little bit here, this ab crunch on this Brutus is like, it's absolutely nuts in my opinion. It really is. And he's a beefy dude too, and like bro, he can pose his legs quite well. It's astonishing, it really is, at how far we have come when it comes to Mattel Elite figures. Because I feel like a guy like Brutus, if they made him back in like, what, 2015 maybe? That figure would not pose that well. But speaking of posing well, we've also got his brother here in Julius Creed, and I do love his head scan as well. I kind of like this one a little bit more than the goofy expression on Brutus, but, you know, it shows the difference in the personalities amongst both of these men. He's more of this, like, quiet, straight-faced guy in the sense, and Brutus is the one with all the personality. But, anywho, you've got his white wrist tape and hand tape here. You've got the finger tape on the other hand, like mentioned earlier. We've got, like I said, the pretty much same exact singlet, except for, well, yeah, a little bit of a QC issue there on the trunks portion of the figure. It's all looking fairly clean though from there. The rest of it is mainly up here on the upper half of the skin tone area. You got some smudging there, but nothing too serious, except for maybe that little smudge right there, I guess. But the QC problems really are not that big of an issue on Julius. They really aren't. And speaking of, one of the big differences I think I've now noticed, actually no, they both kind of do that, where the logo for the American made, like the logo that sits in the middle of the singlet for the American made tag team, there we go, I don't know why I couldn't fucking say that for a second. It'll kind of get hidden based off of how you articulate the figures, because they don't have it connecting up a little bit more onto the singlet. Don't know if I care for that too much, but it's still a detail nonetheless. You got all the stars, all the stripes. Like I said, practically the same exact tank top, just a little bit skinnier. You do have some black knee tape underneath his knee pads though, and his knee pads are just the standard small knee pads, is where Brutus has the open knee pads. So I mean, a nice little switch in detail there. I can't say I'm not digging it. And of course, we got the basic black boots on Julius as well. And I don't know, all around I'm really digging this set. And of course, the leg problem that seems to have been an issue as of what, like the last fucking 20 series? Here we go, bro. Boom. The homie is posing with the best of them right now. And in fact, he's posing so well, his knees are smooth like butter. This is amazing. This is what you want in a Mattel figure straight out of the fucking box. It shouldn't have to be an issue. I get it, they did change factories and all that nonsense, but like, come on now, bro. This is how they should always be. And I mean that. This is how they should always be. And I say it like that because I don't think, articulation-wise, I have an issue with either one of these men. Because, in fact, Brutus over here, he poses just about as well too. It's also hard to kind of pose this with one hand, but like, look at that. That was smooth, and it's both knees. I know, because I've been playing around with this figure. I did not have to hot water treat this or nothing. Only thing I think when it comes to the Brutus is the Brutus has a little bit of a loose ankle rock. But other than that, because of how the new ankle articulation is, you might have to kind of expect that for a little bit longer until they can kind of master exactly how they want to work that. But I think with all that being said, why don't we get Brutus and Julius into their final pose, and maybe, just maybe, we can go over how we feel about both figures and rank them 1 out of 10. Well, alrighty, you guys, we can kind of get a little 2 for 1 here. Hold on a brief second here. My apologies there. I don't know what the fuck crawled down my goddamn throat. At least it wasn't Diddy. No Diddy there. But now we can kind of get a little bit of a 2 for 1 here when it comes down to both of these figures at the end of the day, as we can get a little bit of an action figure comparison here in the final pose when it comes down to the Creed brothers and Chad Gable himself. Of course, not in matching singlets, but if I'm gonna be honest here, the Chad Gable and the Julius Creed are kind of looking fairly similar in torsos. You might be able to just, like, I don't know, you might be able to, like, torso swap it. You might be able to head swap it. Maybe throw the lower boots on to, god damn, I can't fucking speak. Throw the lower boots on from the Gable over to the Julius, and you might be able to make this work here when it comes to having a Gable and matching attire, but they also might make that here in the future here soon too, so don't skip and jump the gun for something that may already come. And I say that just because you never know when it comes to Gable. All they're probably waiting for is him to come back to TV, and they'll announce it, put it into a wave, and boom, we'll get Gable in the American-made gear, I'm sure. We need more Gables, honestly. This man has too many good singlets for us not to be getting as many figures as fucking possible of this man. Like, he's got, what, maybe like 4 elites? 3 elites? It's crazy. It really is. I know he's got 2 American Alpha, like, elites. And then I think he's got so maybe just 3. I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't really matter about the Chad Gable, because at the end of the day, we are here for the Creed brothers. And well, if I'm going to be completely honest here, at the end of the day, I am loving both of these figures. I'm happy I went out of my way to get these guys as soon as I possibly could. And, well, honestly, neither disappointed really. Of course, the QC issues when it comes to both figures at the end of the day it's going to be an issue. When you mass produce figures like this on the scale that Mattel does, you never know what could happen to just a singular figure. So of course, hopefully it doesn't happen to your guys' figures who collect them loose like I do, so you can take a look at the whole singlet or the whole gear in general, no matter what they're wearing. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it as individual figures, I will say I am loving the Julius a little bit more. After all, the Julius poses really, really well. Not saying that the Brutus doesn't by any means, but he kind of feels like he's got that big, beefy, buff guy like figure posing. So it's not that he won't pose well, but Julius being that smaller stature, normal size-ish guy, he'll pose kind of like a Chad Gable would pose. And I say it like that because Chad Gable is probably one of those figures that is like an 8 to a 9 out of 10 easily out of the gate just based off of posing. And, well, honestly, this Julius Creed kind of matches that. And I'm going to give this Julius Creed a good solid, honestly, we're going to give him a good solid 8.5 out of 10. Only reason why I do that is because of the QC issues. If I didn't acknowledge them, I feel like it would be a perfect figure overall, maybe even almost damn near to a 10 out of 10, but we'll never really do that, because then if we ever did get a 10 out of 10 figure, and we already ranked this one 10 out of 10, do we just tie them? Do we just let the next figure be an 11 out of 10? No, we don't be doing that around here. So a good solid 8.5 for Julius over here. And Brutus, honestly, Brutus is going to get a good solid 8, so he's not lacking by any means behind his brother. The changes in the gear are definitely a nice, necessary touch. I want to say an accurate touch as well. Between the black knee tape on the Julius to Brutus having no knee tape and the open knee pads, and just the formulas in general, I feel are pretty damn solid, because Julius, he's a tall, lanky guy, and Brutus is that big, beefy guy. You've got the I almost said the skank and the tank. I don't know why I said that, but you've got the brawler and the brute, hence Brutus, I guess, maybe, I don't know. But I guess since it is a duo review, overall as a nice whopping package, I'm going to give these guys a good solid 9 out of 10. Just because of how solid these figures pose, how solid the gear is, how solid the accessories are for a standard mainline elite. Yeah, maybe it would have been nice to get some extra heads, but you know what though, I always say that, so what does it really matter at this rank? But what does matter is that if you guys did like this video, well, maybe you guys should leave a like. And if you guys did like the video and you would like to, feel free to go out and check out some of my other action figure content. We've got plenty of videos uploaded right now for you guys. We've got some pick fed content, we've got some reviews, we've got unboxings if you're willing to dig deep enough, because I don't always do those. But we've got a lot of shit here. Let's be honest, we really do. Like, mind you, these two videos, they're highlight videos. We've got all this content here for you guys to feast your eyes on. Remember, Dijak, feast your eyes on all the glorious content I feel like I be putting out here. And I'm not tooting up my own horn. I have other fedders in the community who say my work's pretty good and stuff like that, and they're happy to see me slowly improve over time, because I try to put my damnedest work into my pick fed, I can't even lie. But yeah, you know, and then on top of that, we've got all the reviews and stuff too, so what are you guys waiting for? We've got plenty of stuff out there for you guys to check out, and I would gladly appreciate it if you did. But yeah, I guess on that note, if you guys could, one last thing, if you guys could, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free to subscribe. We are in the holiday season, and I am the kind of guy that still technically celebrates Christmas. And if you guys could, one little Christmas gift from you to me, because, well, I can't afford to give 480 people fucking gifts, but if you guys could, from you to me, if you guys already aren't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free. And as I mentioned, we are currently sitting at 480 subscribers, which is absolutely astounding. I'm so fucking happy that we are 20 subscribers away from reaching the 500 goal. We're almost there to 1,000 subscribers, so share this with whoever you have to that you know might like action figure content if you are subscribed. And hell, even if you aren't, just subscribe and help out here. After all I'm asking for at the end of the day mainly is that subscription, because seeing more people enjoy the content and want to stay in tuned and subscribe to stick around for that, it means the world. It really does. And at the end of the day, I don't really have anything else to say. So if you guys would like to, have a good rest of your day, night, evening, morning, whatever the case may be. I don't know, because I'm not in your time zone. But if I were, Would I enjoy my time? Hopefully, I would probably enjoy it a little bit more than I did Cena's last match. And I'm not even saying it in a bad way, because I really did enjoy the match. It's just, of course, me being in denial. I can't see one of my childhood heroes go out the way that he did. But, you know, all I can really say, not that he'll ever see this, but thank you, Cena. And, well, at the end of the day, we're signing out. So, deuces, ooses, yeet.